Welcome. My name is Pilar Lopez, and I am the Associate Dean of the Occupational Life Skills Program. And tonight I'm having here a person from the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. Her name is Megan Grunbrecher, and she is gonna help me present on when it comes to our partnership and describe it for you so that we are all in the same terms. The agenda for tonight is going to be pretty simple. We're going to go through a brief description of who we are, the Occupational Life Skills Program, who the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation is. We're going to define who our target audience is for these summer camps. We will review the content of the summer camps. We'll show you a sample schedule of what a day is going to look like in the camp. We will also go through the dates when we're going to have the camps. We'll discuss briefly how the delivery format for the camp is going to be. We're going to go for a hybrid model. And then we will talk about the enrollment process. Megan is going to talk about who the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation is, under what of their programs this summer camps are going to fall under. So Megan, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, thank you, Pilar. As Pilar said, I'm Megan Grunbrecher. I'm with the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, and I'm actually the Deputy Regional Administrator for Region 2, which supports the Bellevue and East Side schools within King County. And so, what the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation is we're a state agency that supports individuals with disabilities, and in particular, in relation to the services that Pilar is going to talk more about, students with disabilities. And in the last few years, some legislation changed and some federal guidelines changed that allowed us to actually do more for students with disabilities and offer what we call pre-employment transition services, or pre-ETS services, is what we shorten it to. And we do provide individual services to students and adults who have disabilities who are interested in exploring their work options, um, and also finding employment. With pre-employment transition services, those really focus on looking at career exploration, and offering work-based learning activities like job shadows, informational interviews, as well as workplace readiness skills, which are crucial for people to be as successful as possible in their careers moving forward. And what we're able to do with these pre-ET services and the contractors like Bellevue College and OLS is to have students at earlier ages engage in these sorts of conversations and these workshops that really pinpoint the things that they wouldn't otherwise get from their education or their school, but could utilize now and in the future. And so, what Pilar is going to talk about is our group transition services, and the students that we target for that are different than the students that we would target for our individual pre-ET services. For individual pre-ET services, it's the students who need more kind of one-on-one support and more guidance, where individual services are better. They are better served by being provided that service on an individual basis rather than in a group setting. But we also know that there are a ton of students out there on IEPs, 504s, or have documented disabilities that may never need to apply to DVR, may never need to have individual services, but could really benefit from exposure to work activities such as these. And those are the students that we want the contractors to really be able to support and get this information and these resources out there. So I'm going to give it back to Pilar.
Thank you, Megan. So we are one of those contractors that Megan is talking about. The Occupational Life Skills Program, the OLS program, has been around since 2006. We are an associate degree for students with learning disabilities, and we are based at Bellevue College, which is where we're going to hold these summer camps this summer. We have a specially designed curriculum that is targeted to students with disabilities, and we help them develop skills for work and skills for life. So we thought that the kind of curriculum that we always have had and the kind of services that DVR were looking for matched. And so we decided to partner together to offer these summer camps for younger students. So who are the students that we are targeting in the summer camps? As Megan said, we're looking for younger students, but we serve students up to 21 years of age. They need to have a documented disability. Some students have an IEP, that a secondary transition planning, a 504 plan, or whatever documented disability they have. They are attending at this point in time either a high school, or they are already enrolled in a post-secondary program or other recognized educational program. This is the summer camp that we are going to offer this summer. So we're going to go for 2 summer camps, Skills for Work 1 and Skills for Work 2. In Skills for Work 1, we are going to cover 24 hours of workplace readiness skills. This summer camp is going to be offered from Monday to Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. What content are we going to cover in this summer camp? We're going to go through the process of the students kind of discovering a lot about themselves. They're going to be working on learning who they are as employees, what strengths can they bring to the table for an employer, and what kind of learning styles they have, so that when they go to the job site, they can ask for explanations or accommodations that match those learning styles. For example, if they are visual learners, they might want to see a task list, or they might want to see how things are done so that they can replicate them. We're also going to talk about values, because values are important when you are in the workplace, and using your personal values is needed by the employer, something that they value, they will ask you about. We will also go through some basics of the interviewing process, which is usually how every interview starts with, which is tell me about yourself, what social expectations we have in the workplace as of hygiene, dressing. I know that some employers check your social media pages and they check you out there. So we're going to talk about how to protect yourself and what to say on social media and what not to say on social media. We're going to talk a lot about advocacy in the workplace, and we're going to create a vision board, a vision that shows what career path you're aiming for, what are your interests for the future, what kind of things motivate you when it comes to thinking of a future career. Those are the parts that go into what the student is going to learn about themselves. They're also going to explore the workplace. They're going to understand at the end of the summer camp how an organization works. What is the structure of an organization? They're going to explore in their own minds what will be their best job ever and the worst job ever that they will ever have in their life. And they're going to describe what is it that they are aiming for, and what is their understanding of the work environment, behaviors that are expected at work, the difference between a student and an employee, and the difference between the expectations of a teacher versus the expectations of a manager or a supervisor. We're going to explore how jobs are performed and how different environments need different kind of jobs. If you want to work outside, if you want to work inside, if you prefer to move, if you prefer to sit down, if you prefer to work with computers, all that kind of expectations. And then we will have a tour of a workplace. This part, the social skills, is part of what OLS is all about, is teaching social skills to the students that come through our program. So we thought that this was also important for our campers to learn about. So what social skills are going to be needed for work are we going to practice in this summer camp? Well, we're going to practice a lot of flexibility, advocacy, collaboration, teamwork. We're going to do a lot of work in teams, communication skills, and professionalism. And parents will get a chance to see how all this comes together the last day of camp when the students do a presentation for their families. How would a day look like in our summer camps? This is a mock-up. We start camp at 9 a.m. and we will start with one of the topics of discussion of that day, which is professionalism. What are the expectations of the workplace? Then we'll do a virtual visit to our library since we have it there. And we will talk about work expectations in a library, for example, and what the job of a library entails and what kind of environment that is, and etc. We will have a short break. We call it a shakeout exercise. We don't want students to be sitting down. We've been teaching online for a long time now, and we know that students need to move. So we do sometimes either a short break or a shakeout or a game so that we kind of disconnect for a second and then we come back. We will continue at 10 a.m. with dependable strength activities. So we will find out each student will do an activity trying to come up with strengths that they have and how to prove that they have those strengths. And we will take another break. This break will be longer because we'll be in the middle of the morning. So it will be a snack time or, stretch and come back in 10 minutes. Then we will have a game that is related to dependable strengths. It's called Prove It. And basically, a person says a strength that they have, and they have to immediately say why they think they have that strength and give an example. We will show then a workforce video, and we'll have a discussion in groups, and we will get more information from the video and analyze the information there. Another break. And finally, we'll have let's say, a virtual job shadow and discussion. And this will apply mostly for the part of what we're going to do work-based learning. This is basically how we would schedule a day during the summer camps. Part 2 of the summer camps will entail also another 24 hours of workplace readiness content. And then we will also add some more hours to include work-based learning. And I will go in the next slide in more detail about what work-based learning entails. In this camp, we will start kind of using skills that we have learned in the previous camp, and we will start applying it to the job search. We will be preparing for mock interviews. We will be creating our own resume. And we understand that many of us don't have experience, but we will start understanding what needs to be on a resume and what information needs to be there. We'll start talking about how to interview, what skills you need to have, what needs to practice. And then we will also talk about what kind of supports each person needs in the workplace and how to ask for it. Again, advocacy statements. So we will work on preparing those advocacy statements that we can go to the workplace and tell our supervisors about. What are we going to be doing? Well, we're going to be doing mock interviews in this summer camp. We're going to be also talking about assistive technology if we need it, what apps we have on the phone that we can use in the workplace to, time ourselves, for example. What tools do we have that can help us perform our work better? Then we're going to explore how we find a job. What tools do we have at hand to look for job search sites, but also, do we have a network? Who is our network? How can we reach out to our own networks and find work? Then we will go into documents that we are going to be handed out when we are hired and that we need to fill out and why. And also, we're going to find out what is a job coach and what role do they play once you have a job. Then we will tour workplaces as part of the work-based learning. Again, the skills that students are going to be practicing are adaptability, again, advocacy, self-management or self-regulation. They're going to be presenting, they're going to be interviewing, they're going to be in the spotlight a lot. Teamwork, flexibility, communication, professionalism, and they're going to show us self-determination when they start choosing those career paths that they are going to be exploring. What are work-based learning activities? What we mean by work-based learning activities is activities that are related to the actual act of finding a job. So they're going to be practicing how to interview through mock interviews. They're going to be visiting job sites. At this point in time, we still don't know what the summer is going to look like in terms of being live or not being live, or on ground or not being on ground. So we are aiming for virtual job tours. We did this last summer and it was very successful. A staff member went to a job site, and with a camera, we were touring the site, and the students at home were asking questions that the employer was listening to and talking about. So it was kind of a fun experience for the students because it was very interactive. And then we will do job shadows. So each student will choose a couple of careers that they want to learn about, and they will explore how a day in the life of that person or that job looks like. So as of now, again, we have resources that are virtual that will provide that kind of experience for the students. until the state opens and we can have real job shadows in real workplaces. As of now, the problem we have is that many businesses are still working online, and it's very difficult to get someone to just open something to have a student, and they're not going to see much because businesses are really operating remotely. So we're going to use some resources that we have that actually DVR has provided to us, in which the students can observe jobs being performed individually as they desired. Then the summer of 2022, which is next year, those students who have participated in both summer camps and that they are being assessed by DVR and OLS and determined that they are eligible, and I will talk about what eligible means, we will be able to participate in paid internships starting in the summer. The way that we are going to determine eligibility is we need to find out if the student is able to sustain employment or to be in an employment site without supports and be successful. If a student needs someone to help them start, if a student needs someone to help them learn a task with different tools that the job site is not ready to provide, if the student is going to need more help than the job site is going to be able to give them, and then they're going to need support, then they need to choose different services than the pre-employment transition services we are providing right now. So in the spring of 2022, those students will meet with us, with OLS staff, and we will discuss what are those interests, those explorations that they did in the summer camp, and what is their interest in terms of having an internship. Each student will be eligible to participate in an internship for a minimum of 40 hours. That probably puts them at 10 hours per week, and the internships will be paid at either state or whatever city they are minimum wage, whichever is higher. For example, if the student is going to be interning in Bellevue, the minimum wage as of now is $13.60, I think it is. It's a little bit higher than the state minimum wage. So that's the wage that the student is going to be perceiving. So we are going to offer 4 sessions, 2 Skills for Work 1 sessions and 2 Skills for Work 2 sessions. The second session, we're going to have a Skills for Work 1 and a Skills for Work 2 being held at the same time. The reason why is because we want to offer the opportunity for students that cannot do back-to-back summer camp sessions, the opportunity to take, let's say, the first one starting July 12th, and then if they cannot do the second session, Skills for Work 2, started on July 26th, maybe they can come and do the one in August. In previous years, we always have someone who had vacation times, so we wanted to provide some flexibility. We also have to have in mind that if we don't have enough numbers in the summer camps, we will have to eliminate sessions. So we will have to kind of condense students, and we will let you know if that is the case. So as you can see, the first camp, Skills for Work 1, has less hours in it than the second one. The first one starts at 9 a.m. and ends at 12 p.m. Monday to Thursday, whereas Skills for Work 2 starts at 8:30 a.m. and ends at 12:30 p.m. And the reason why is, as I told you before, is that we are adding hours for workplace learning experiences to that camp. How we are planning on teaching this in this COVID times, we're going to do a hybrid model. We're going to separate the students into Group A and Group B, and Group A will be on campus 2 days of the week, and Group B will be learning virtually those 2 days. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, we will switch. The Group A will stay home, and the Group B will be on campus. That way we ensure that they have an on-ground experience, but we also ensure that they are safe, and we provide enough social distancing. We provide a safe environment for all of them. What we are also planning on doing is we are aware that some families are not interested in on-ground activities, so they only want virtual learning. And we are also aware that some families only want on-ground activities. So what we will do is we will send out a survey to all the families that are interested in summer camps. And if we have enough numbers, we cannot have more than 10 people, and that includes the instructors. What we will try to do is meet your requirements and your wants and needs as much as possible, but guaranteeing the safety of the students and the staff. So that means that if we have a number of people that only want online, we will put them only online. And if we have a number of people that only want on ground, and we have those numbers and we are going to continue being safe, that's what we will do. For those days that students are going to be at home, what we will want is, or we will need actually, is that they have their own computer or that they can use that computer for the amount of time that the summer camp is going to be held. We're going to host our summer camps on Teams, Microsoft Teams. So students that have a PC seem to do much better. Mac computers, of course, take Teams, but there are some functionality issues with Macs and Teams. I don't know. I don't understand very well why, but I think that they don't like each other. Chromes are fine, but also functionality with Teams is limited sometimes. We will need those computers or Chromes or Macs to have a webcam or access to a camera, because they're going to be on camera most of the day. They need to have a good microphone and speakers. We're going to need them to have high-speed internet access. Again, we're going to be on camera, so that we know that takes a lot of our speed. They also need to have access to a personal email account. If the students use the email accounts that their own schools provide for them, and they have been using Teams with their school districts, they will need to sign out of that account and sign in into this new account that we are going to create for them. Team accounts are not compatible, and if they try to sign in with their current school accounts, they're not going to be able to access our summer camps. And we will send you an email with details about this once you are registered. But this is what we experienced last year in our summer camps. So we kind of know how to walk you through the whole process. But if you don't have Microsoft Teams installed in your computer, we will ask you to download it and install it. And again, we will send you an email and information about how to do all these things and what the requirements are going to need so that you can start the first day without any issues. What is the enrollment process? DVR provides a consent form that we have on our website and that you need to download and complete. This consent form needs to be signed by a special education teacher that takes your case in your school. Once you have the consent form signed by the teacher, DVR needs to get a copy of that consent form, and they will determine if the student is eligible for this service. So our contact at DVR for this decision is Holly Montana, and her email is written here, and you also have it on our website. So you can start the process with Holly and us, and Megan will also help if needed, but our contact there is Holly Montana. So this is the process to register. And again, this is on our website under Summer Camps tab.